All right, so the power's still out here. It's going on, it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It went off about 4:30, 5 o'clock this morning. It was intermittent before that, so the hurricane, whatever the hurricane that came, ooh, look, this guy's went through is bad, is ugly. My neighbor had a bunch of trees fall on his back fence. Luckily, he had a tree that also fell that almost sounded like it clipped his house, almost, but didn't quite. But it's a drawback about living in a tree area. I love trees, but man, when it comes hurricanes, trees can be deadly, that's for sure. So, as always, this just reminds me of how on the edge society is. I hope you all can hear me. I think a lot of people, especially the urban area, I think they forget how easy they have it, and I think they are completely unprepared for even a couple days without the basic creature comforts that we've come to expect. I got my preps pretty set up now, so I got a bunch of lamps, a bunch of inverters, a bunch of extension cords. I got my batteries and everything, so we'll have light tonight. Thankfully, I live in Georgia, so we won't freeze to death. Actually, today was kind of hot. The windows are open, but still hot. It's like 75 degrees, windy, but it was a hot day for sure. And I didn't sleep at all. A lick last night because Pablo was all scared. It's kind of funny. And trees are falling, and it was windy. It was bad, man. It's scary. You hear about trees falling on people's houses and stuff, and it's not good. So where are you staying? Where's your preps? One of the reasons I'll probably never move back full time to the north is because the cold scares the hell out of me. And for you who are new to my channel, you won't know this, but maybe you do. I don't know. I'm from Maine originally, and growing up on an island off the coast of Maine, Peaks Island, Maine, to be specific, it's just look up Peaks Island, Maine in the 70s. It was an island for eccentric people, hippies, recluses, whatever. Welfare Island is what they call it. We had some chickens, compost, and whatnot. And you always had the rich people from Massachusetts that came in during the summertime. But other than that, it was dark, it was dead, and it was poor. And one of the things that growing up on the island, which is kind of interesting, is that you knew when the wintertime comes, you better be prepared, man. And so you literally batten down the hatches. You know what I'm saying? You put your storm windows on. You get your wood chopped up and stuff. You got to make sure that you're ready, because when the wintertime comes, it's no joke. And Maine on an island, and that was before we had, like high-speed technologies. I got something like. So basically, we had party line for telephone. We didn't have cable. We didn't have any of that crap. You know what I'm saying? So wintertime comes, you're on an island, literally an island. Now you could still see Portland, but it was scary, and it made you get prepared. And I just remember walking home from school sometimes, and my folks split. My mom didn't have the money, or just forgot, or something like that, to pay the oil bill, so we didn't have any heat. And you walk home, and it'd be actually colder inside than it was outside. And you always wonder, you're walking home from school, and you're always wondering, is it going to be? Look, you just wonder, is it going to be warm inside? Did mom pay the bill? It's freaking 5th grade. You're sitting there going, I'm going to walk home. Is the heat going to be on? Because if it wasn't, it was scary. There's just no other way around that. It's scary. So I don't know if that got me as a prepper or what, but I don't like being unprepared for stuff like this. My wife, even though she has 8 brothers and sisters, her dad died young. She's more of the moment. She doesn't quite see the long-term effect. Hold on a second. I got something in my sock here. Of not being prepared. And I think a lot of people like that, she sees the short term. I see the long term in that regard, if that makes sense. And I think a lot of couples are like that, where one says, look, man, we got to be prepared just in case. And the other says, let's put that off. Let's just take care of it right now. And I think there's good in both of those things, but you need to have a plan for being prepared. And just not having lights is a big deal. Flashlights are fine, but lamps are better. You know what I'm saying? An LED light that takes 10 watts can be powered very, very simply off a small battery, man. And just having a couple LED lights is huge, just to be able to see. And not having lights is bad. We got these little lanterns, which are fine. Talking to a guy today from South Dakota. He's got these little propane tanks that he has in a couple different rooms. Now, propane, you probably can use that inside, but he says I still have a window open just in case, you know what I'm saying? So it's, like those 5 gallon or 20 pound, I can't remember, those little tanks you use for barbecue, you know what I'm saying? And so he's got a little heater off that, and that's a great idea for heating for sure. We actually have a fireplace that's natural gas, so we can actually turn that on if we need to. The sad thing about natural gas, it doesn't have the same kind of heating as a wood stove, but we can turn it to a wood stove if we want. I don't really like to, because the wood stove smoke is quite polluting. It's bad for your lungs. No other way around that. Even though you do have a flue where the smoke goes up, it still gets into the house, and it's just bad for your lungs. Anyway, so what do you got? I mean, you got to have light. Obviously, got to have food. Usually the water will work. It's not on the electrical line, but if you have a pump, you got to have a way to have the pump. Some pump, you know what I'm saying? If you got a hurricane and you get flooding down there and your electricity's out, how you gonna get the water out? You got to have a way to do this stuff, and this is no joke. This is a big deal. You got to have heat, even if you're living in Georgia. In the wintertime, it still gets cold here, my friends. You got to have heat, and if you don't have heat, you can get under the blankets and stuff, but that's scary. So what do you do to make sure you have these things? And if you don't have these things, and you're just at the reliance of the government for someone come save me, that's not a good look, because then you're literally waiting for other people to come to your help, and that's fine, except other people, who are they going to take care of first? They're going to take care of their own. This is why I always say, why you need to have firearms, because when seconds matter, the cops are only minutes away. That's not an indictment on police. What that is saying, look, you've got to be able to take care of yourself first and foremost, because don't forget, when things are going to hell in a high water, the cops and the authorities, they got to take care of their families too. So if you have mass riots, you have mass this, that, the other, people are going to take care of their own before they come to take care of you. Always remember that. You've got to have your preps, man. Oh, it's crazy. And so that means freeze-dry food. That means water, tons of water. I mean, you got to throw, was it 2 gallons? 2 gallons, I think, each person of water is what the rule of thumb is. And that's a lot of flipping water. You got to have that. You got to have food. You got to have matches. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you got to have AA batteries. A whole bunch of them. Rechargeable, ideally. I tell you, man, you got to have this stuff. I see that. Yeah, there goes the electric guys, cherry pickers. They're going through because we got none. That's a tough job there, man. That's a tough job. And all your solar panels, they don't do crap when it comes down to stuff like this. They don't. You know why? Because your solar PV cannot store the electricity you need. Ooh, something just hit me in the head. Your solar cannot store the electricity. You know why? Because the batteries are not up to snuff. They're just not. So if you're just a suburbanite like I am, and you got some rooftop solars, you better have your batteries charged. What solar can do is solar can actually charge your batteries. That's about it for a day. But when you got hurricane time, that's not doing anything. That's not doing anything. You've got to have a secondary backup supply. Natural gas is it. That's why I always am adamant about natural gas, because it's so reliable. Natural gas, I think he even said during Hurricane Katrina, the natural gas lines were still working, whereas everything else was freaking dead to rights. So anyway, and I'll never forget Hurricane Sandy up in New Jersey. That's what won the election for Obama. I truly believe that. That was a big deal. And in South Jersey, we didn't get hit hardly at all. I think we only had power out for like 4 hours. In fact, I was even able to go to work the next day. Took the train in. But where my sister lives and my uncle up in North Jersey, man, they were pummeled. People in Pennsylvania, they were pummeled too. Trees everywhere. And if you didn't have backup power, man, you're in a world of hurt for sure. So get a backup power of some sort. Spend the money for that. I'm telling you, man. I got 2 or 3 inverter generators that take natural gas. I have not been doing a good job of shuffling my gas out, though. I need to get back to doing that too now that winter's coming. And if it's a mild winter, great. you're not out anything except the cost of the gas, except the cost of your batteries, the cost of your food. When it comes time for it, though, especially during a pandemic when freaking businesses are going out, you got to have your backups, man. If you're spending 2 hours a day investigating stocks and you don't have a simple backup power supply of just basic lighting, never mind food and water, you're wrong. That's all there is to it. You got to get this stuff done. And it's if you're a man and you got a wife and kids at home, it's on you to be doing this stuff. There's no excuse not to have some basic stuff to back up your house and to protect it and to keep your kids and wife somewhat comfortable when things go awry. It's on you. What's the word? Not patronizing. Misogynist. I don't give two craps. That's what a man is supposed to do. A husband is supposed to do. A father's supposed to do. He's supposed to make sure his family is taken care of first and foremost. That's your priority. This is why the society's falling apart, because men have for some reason allowed themselves to be denied what they're supposed to do, which is to provide for their families, without question, to keep them safe. Yeah, you saying women can't do that? No, did I ever say that? Nope. In fact, if you look at my family, my wife would kick your butt. She'd kick my butt, I'll tell you that right now. But the issue is that, man, your job is to protect and provide for your family. And if you're not doing it, you're wrong. And if you freaking... I don't want to get started. So you can see a high correlation between the dividing of the family, i.e. fathers being kicked out, fathers not showing responsibility, and freaking carnage in the streets. Oh, there's no correlation there. The hell there isn't. Anyway, so get out there and make sure you got your preps up. That's all I got to say about that. See you.